Welcome back to the Brain Freeze podcast, where chill conversations meet hot topics. Last episodes, we chopped it up with Kicho, a quiet powerhouse behind the scenes of Lunar Pact and Northern Forces. That was all about consistency, leadership, and what it means to hold it down when the cameras aren't rolling. Today, we have another brand new guest and a brand new story. But before we get started, I do have to ask you guys, what do you get when you mix tech experience, a hatred for the typical 9 to 5, a move across the country, and an obsession with late night Omegle chats? You get today's guest, the founder and CEO of the brand new platform, Vooz. Vooz is shaping up to be the next evolution of anonymous video chat born out of Jeremy's love for the chaos of Omegle, but rebuilt with better design, purpose, and community in mind. His journey's far from traditional, as he's worked in product management, investment banking, solar sales, and now he's leading a startup that could change how people connect online. Today we're diving into how it all came together, the real challenges, the mindset behind the madness, and where Vooz is headed next. Jeremy, welcome to the Brain Freeze.
Cool. That was an awesome introduction. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of
Yeah, that was
course,
that
man.
was awesome.
Dude, it's awesome to have you. We talked a little bit before we started recording. The brain freeze, I didn't really intend to take a direction where I thought we would get to an episode kind of focused into something like this, at least so early on. It's really cool to talk to you, man. I heard a lot about you from our editor, Camila. For those who don't know
Yeah,
Camila, she's
she's awesome.
incredible. Um, and you have quite an incredible story, and I'm excited to learn a lot about you. You are the first person ever on any of the podcasts I have ever hosted that I have brought on and actually known nothing about. So this is going to be a fun
Okay.
experience today.
All right, let's do it. I'm with it. I'm with it.
Beautiful. So before we get started, I have to ask, are you familiar with how we have run things over here at the Brain Freeze? Have you watched any of the episodes previous?
I have not. To be honest, yeah, I have not.
Beautiful. So, for you and the listeners at home, we're going to break this episode up into 3 chapters. We're going to start with your restless journey through tech and beyond, and then we're going to dive into how Vooz was born out of perfect and imperfect timing, and finally wrapping up with the vision behind what comes next. Cool? All
Got it.
right.
Okay, let's do it.
We typically run some mini games throughout the episode. However, this time, like the episode itself, it's going to be a little bit different. There's going to be no trivia, no rapid fire. This time, it's going to be all about the creative hypotheticals, the wild what ifs, and taking the conversation in directions that only a builder like yourself could. So, buckle up. We're going to dive into the mind behind Vooz, and you're not going to want to miss this one, everyone. So, let's go into chapter number 1. Just can't sit still. So, Jeremy, you lived on both sides of the system, from high paying tech jobs to total commission based chaos. But every time
Hmm.
things looked comfortable, you left.
Yes.
Why do you
Yeah.
think that pattern has kept repeating for you?
It's an interesting question, and so why does that pattern keep repeating? I don't have an exact answer for it, if I'm being honest for you, but it's been a pattern since I was first started after college, 9 to 5 job, right? I start to just lose faith quickly,
Mm.
lose faith that like this is able to, you know, get me kind of into the life that I want, be able to afford a house, do this, do that. And it's like, it seems like also for millennials and people our age, it just becomes you kind of start losing a little bit of faith in the system. And it happens to me quickly all the time. And on top of that, I always wanna I always believe whenever I'm working at a different company or something like this, I'm like, I want to do more. I want to be able to have more say in things, and s- on top of that, the pay that we're getting as in salaries and these types of jobs and everything, looking forward to kind of what I want to do in the future. I guess I always lose faith and I'm not able to really sit still in any kind of job for a certain period of time. And it's funny because I don't realize it when it's going on, right? But it's been a consistent throughout my life where, after 2 years at a job, a year after a job, I'm always like, oh, I gotta leave. I gotta do something else. This isn't what I thought it would be, and it's a very big consistent. And I've had a wide range of jobs. And like
Right.
I actually mentioned to you before, the job I have now is my favorite job.
Yeah.
And it's a fully commission-based
Yeah.
solar sales job, which is the most interesting thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, you've done everything from product management to investment banking. Now you're in solar sales. On paper, I mean, to basically anyone out there that's on a steady trajectory track up, like you are kind of living the dream as far as getting more control of your life, making more money, kind of doing everything right, and you're kind of just going up that social ladder when it comes to the economic course of I mean, you're going from job to job, but you're going up the right direction. You know what I mean? You're taking control of your
Yeah.
life. You're living the life that a lot of people are chasing after, but you aren't really able to stay put. So in each of these jobs, as you're getting more and more, you're like, I need more. I need more. You get more. What's keeping you from staying put? What's missing for you?
I think the biggest piece that's missing, right, like, is it's nothing to do with control or anything like that. Like it's I don't look at like with Vooz, the people I work with, I'm very free with them. I let people kind of have their own opinions and stuff like that. I think it's just the end of what kind of explain this one. So like when I was 22, right? I was working at JP Morgan Chase.
Hmm.
Um, had a girlfriend, who could have married this girl, great girl, right? Had a girlfriend, could have married this girl. I'm 22 years old. I'm working at JP Morgan Chase, right? And it was, I'm working in investment banking. From the outside perspective in, it seems like the most, good looking girlfriend, have my own apartment, all this kind of stuff. It looks like such a great setup, right?
Hmm.
But I was just deeply not happy with myself, right? And I think what scared me the most was when I looked at the future and I looked at like what was happening in the future. You have guys that have worked at JP Morgan for 30, 40 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I looked at that and I was like, I don't want that.
Right.
I don't want that. Like, I don't want what they have right now in life. Like, they're going to their job for 80 hours a week. They always have to listen to management. This, like, you know what I mean? I just didn't want it.
Yeah.
And it kind of put me off to that path, like in that path very quickly, right? Then, I moved into tech and I'm getting a little bit older. I want to think about how I can afford a home one day, this and this. And then I'm like looking at, okay, in 10 to 15 years, maybe I can get a home, and it just things seems too far in the
Yeah.
future that it's not what I want, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. I feel like a lot of people actually relate to that, but a lot of people don't know. They're like, "Oh man, I want this, and like I need to do more." Man, that's so far away, but like, what do I do about it? Oh well, I might as well just keep grinding it out day after day after day. Just go to work, keep my head
Yeah.
down. That's what the system tells us to do. It must be the right way to do things. So
Yeah. I'd rather be in control of my future, I guess you could say. Like I would
yeah,
rather risk and lose, you know, and at least say to myself, I took the chances, than play it safe.
yeah, absolutely. That's a great answer that kind of leads into our next question. So, um, not necessarily the idea of building something on your own, but for the sake of lack of better terminology, building something on your own like Vooz or with your team, is it about just kind of taking back control of your life or showing people that this doesn't have to be how the system can be?
Like to build a team.
Yeah, just to like do your own thing, not really listen to, hey, you got to go do a 9 to 5 in order to move up in your
I think
promotion.
you-
You got
I
to
think
work
you-
this 20
I think you
years.
have to have it. I think you have a sense of that, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like I talked to this about some people, like in my last tech job, right? It's product manager in tech, built some mobile apps, stuff like that, right? And and that was my first like foray into tech. So I was really learning a lot, like how to build from the ground up, which is like such valuable, tools for my future, right?
Hmm.
And when I'm at that company, right, I'm meeting directly. It wasn't a huge startup. It was a unicorn startup, so it was worth over $1 billion, but it wasn't
Okay.
like the biggest startup in the world, right? So
Yeah.
you're working directly with C-suite people, the CEO, the CFO, all those people, right? And it was at that time when I had those kinds of conversations and all that kind of stuff, right? I realized like really quickly, I was like, hey, these people are no different from me, right? They just took the chances. They did like they are smart people, do not get me wrong, right? You know, but they took the shots. They had the balls to say, I'm gonna just go with this and see what the hell happens, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of gave me a little bit of more confidence in myself to be like, I want to take my own risks and I want to put my money into things
Right.
and I want to see if I can build something that can be really beneficial.
Yeah, yeah. I think the mindset behind a lot of it is and kind of always has been high risk, high reward. The people who
Yeah.
sit where they are going to get the same thing that they've always gotten, sort of thing. But that is guaranteed. Where a lot of people,
Yep.
you take that risk, it's into the unknown, and that's what scares so many people, which is why it's so commendable when people step outside of what's considered the norm or what people might call crazy in some regards because
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
guaranteed it anymore. So.
Yeah. And it is a little crazy. Don't get me wrong. It is.
So let's talk about. So there was a point in your life where you had to make a move across the country. Is that
Yeah.
accurate? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and talk to us about that.
Yeah. So there was a point in my life, basically, I was so burnt out from investment banking and stuff. I didn't have to move across the country. I was just so burnt out. Again, it was at one of those points in my life, I was just, not um didn't see what my future was. I was like, can't do this anymore. And I actually just moved across the country, like just one suitcase
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
right? I had a place to stay in Venice and was like, I'm going there. I didn't know anyone. Um, I love Venice, by the way, coolest part of LA. So I lived there. My first 6 months, I actually was in a restaurant, managed a restaurant for a bit before I kind of got back on my feet. And that's when I started my career in product management and tech.
All right. So when you first made that move, you talking about you got burnt out with your investment banking. Uh, some people say like a radical decision there might have just been a job switch by itself, but you took it a step further, of course, and you decided to grab one suitcase of everything that you own and you go absolutely across the country from New York to California,
Yeah,
set up in somewhere where
yeah,
you didn't know a single person.
yeah, no one, yeah.
Yeah, so that's
But it,
good.
but it was beautiful. Like it was cool. Like I loved it. Like I don't like I loved that time in my life too because it was like I didn't like I said I went and I worked in a restaurant for a while. I met so many cool people. Um Made a whole bunch of new friends.
Yeah.
Like it was freeing, you know what I mean? Like I literally I didn't bring anything of mine from you. All my stuff like gone, sold it and just left, right? Um, which is sometimes like the most freeing thing in the world. Just be like, yo, I just have my suitcase, I'm out, and then go start a new life, right?
Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah.
Can't agree or disagree with that statement personally, I guess, but yeah, I'll take
Yeah.
your word for it, man. That's it
Yeah. It
sounds
was cool.
even me sitting here and talking about it now, I'm like, there's no fucking shot that I, as a middle 20s aged man, could be like, yeah, fuck it, I'm just gonna drop everything and go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Um, no, I commend you on that. That's definitely a time in your life later on where you're all sitting around the campfire telling stories with your kids. You're gonna be like, yeah, I remember when I was so and so, and I completely just left everything that I owned, and I just moved across the country, and I started this, got a brand new job, got all this money. I mean, it's going to be a defining moment in your career if Vooz blows up the way that we're expecting it to, right? And you get brought
Yeah.
on to these talk shows and interviews and podcasts. That's going to be a very defining moment in your story where you're like, this is basically where the mindset shifted of I'm going to burn myself in investment banking for the rest of my life to I'm
Yeah.
going to make a switch now. So
Yeah. 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 And that was kind of what it was. It was like I was just like, "Phew, I'm done. I want to go somewhere better weather. I just need to relax. Like I don't want to say I don't care about my friends. I care about them a lot, right? But I
yeah,
was like, it's time for something new.
Right.
Like it's just like, I don't want to be in New York for the rest of my life. Like there's more out there, right?
For sure. So we're gonna skim the surface a little bit of booze without getting fully headfirst into it because we're gonna talk about it a little harder later. Um, Now, when you made this move across the country, was Vooz already like in your mind, or was this kind of just like I had to do this for me? Like you didn't really have the idea for Vooz yet?
Yeah. So I'll say this, right? And it's like interesting because it's like I always, but even when I was like 22, 23 in New York, I always looked at Omegle because I just thought it was fun, right? And I always was like, always in my head, I was like, there could be such a cooler way to do this, right? So
Hmm.
it was there, right? It was there. But the idea, kind of fully formulated after I started doing more tech stuff.
Okay, and that was after you moved to California, after the
Yeah, after I
restaurant
moved to
management,
California.
and that was going into tech, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Gotcha. So most people chase stability, I would say is a fair thing to say that a lot of people are chasing after. Time after time again, you pretty much directly ran away from it. You did the complete opposite that most people do. Um, if Vooz was not in the picture and you got your tech background, everything in your life stays the same, other than right now where you have been planning out and building Vooz. If Vooz was not in the picture right now, what does your life look like? Are you still working in solar sales, or are you looking for the next gig?
Jeez, I don't even know. It's a good question. It's a good question. I don't have an answer for that. Um, I probably would do something in sales. Yeah, I didn't realize how much I enjoyed it till I kind of got into this industry. But yeah, I would probably stick to that. Like I said, I like having more control over
Yeah.
my life, like as opposed to like being told this is what you're going to get paid every year, this is what you have to do every day. I just like that, so I probably would be sticking to something in sales in the
Sure.
future. Um, but if Vooz wasn't there, but also if Vooz wasn't there, I probably would build something else.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah, that's a really solid answer. Um, Now you said a few times that you enjoyed your career in solar sales more than any other job. Um, correct me if I'm assuming here, but I believe it's because of the ability to, if I work harder, I get paid more. Is that a pretty
Yeah,
accurate
yeah, yeah, yeah.
representation of that? All right.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So a correlation with that people might falsely assume before hearing the full story and just assume about you. They see Jeremy, they see you working job to job to job. A year or 2 years that you said earlier, right? You're going from investment banking to tech, and you have all these solid career choices that are considered like actual put your head down and do the work kind of jobs. And then you get into a job with sales where it's very, you work at your own pace, you do exactly what you want to do, and the work that you do reflects how much money you're going to get paid, right?
Hmm.
Now, some people can make a correlation like, okay, well, if he doesn't want to work that day, he doesn't have to. So, did you run away from the jobs that made you work, or did you run away from the jobs that locked you in to how much you could work?
Yeah, it's a good question, right? I basically, no, no, no. I work a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'm not afraid to work, right? But the thing is, if I want, if it's an option for me to work 6 or 7 days a week, right? In a salary job and I make more money, I'm taking that option. But that's not an option.
Yeah.
Like in a salary job, you're going to basically put in the bare minimum
Yeah.
to what you're able to get your money for, right? Why do you need to go and above and beyond, right? Of course, you can get a promotion, this and that,
Right.
but it's like I find like those promotions are going to happen majority of the
It's
times
whoever stays
anyway,
in the
right? It's like
company the longest. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's like the incentive nowadays is not even to stay at a company. It's to be like 1 year, the same job role, right? But
Hmm.
like 1 year here, then you gotta go leverage that for more money here.
Right.
There's no reason to even be loyal to companies anymore, right? So it's not really being afraid to work. There's just no incentive to really work super hard in salary jobs most of the times, in my
Right.
opinion.
No, that's absolutely valid. I mean, I'm gonna use the point I just made as a counterpoint against the people who could bring those points to life. Is I work
Yeah.
I work the standard 9 to 5 job. well, 6 to 2, but regardless, I work the 40 hours a week. I have one of the easiest fucking jobs in the world, but I get paid
Yeah.
more than double what I need to get paid to live comfortably. Now, I'm not out there looking for the next best thing because I enjoy doing what I do in my free time. I run the podcast, I host my content, I stream, I do all of the things that I enjoy. I don't burn my life away with work like you want to, right? I enjoy the
Yeah.
fact that they can't make me work my sixth or seventh day of the week because they don't
Yeah.
have that
Yeah.
option under a company. But I definitely understand the mindset that you have with, man, I'm not doing nothing else. I could be making money right now. Like, what are we doing? Like, why do I have to sit at home? It's
Yeah. 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 It's not even. I just like I said, the main thing also with a lot of these like salary type jobs is I just don't like nowadays stuff is just so hard as well, right? And I have no hate on salary type jobs. I have no like nothing against it. I have a lot of friends that make a lot of money doing regular jobs, right?
mhm.
Lawyers, this, you know what I mean, right? Um, but it just feels like harder and harder to get the American dream, quote unquote,
Oh yeah,
nowadays, like get a house, have a family, do these types of things, right? And feel like I get disillusioned a lot of the times in these jobs where it's like, you know, I remember like the product management job where I'm like, hey, I think I deserve this amount of money as a raise, right? Like inflation was hitting hard at that time.
yeah,
I was doing really well on my job, and it's like, hey, I think I should be getting paid this, right? And
hmm,
they're like, nah, you saying what you're getting. I
yeah,
was like, I hate that. Like, I have to go to you to beg for money to kind of just even have like a stable life,
right, right,
for
right.
myself. It can get to me a little bit, right?
Yeah, I feel like there's probably a fair amount of people out there that have had a similar experience I have. I you get offered these positions as your resume grows. You get offered positions in these similar ideas where you go from company to company, like you were talking about. There's no point in loyalty anymore because a lot of the times they aren't going to reward you for the loyalty that you provide, anyways. So
Exactly. Yeah.
you get offered more money for technically a lesser position in another company, and you go up and you tell the guys that you're working for, you say, "Hey, I just got offered $2 more an hour. Like, I want you to match that, or I'm leaving." And they're like,
Yeah.
well, how much have we done for you? You got to think about how much we've done for you. You know
It's
what I
like,
mean? It's
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like I don't think there's really much loyalty anymore to, and there shouldn't be, in my opinion,
right, right,
right?
right.
Until they prove otherwise, right? But like there's no real like it's like I'm incentivized
Hmm.
as a product manager to work there for a year and a half, leverage that, get another job, boost my salary, leverage that, get another
Yeah,
job. It's like that's really your path,
right.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless they take you and go, we're going to put you in the C-suite one day, but it's like that's your path.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's I don't know if this reigns true for you as well, but I think COVID kind of changed the job market forever. I think it really opened up people's eyes when a lot of them lost their jobs, and we had to get creative on new ways to figure out how we can make money. Realize, wow, there's a lot better ways to make money out there than literally just working the typical 9 to 5 in the restaurant business or the retail business or like all these like
Yeah,
very common jobs that used to be so overpopularized are now like struggling to find even the simplest of workers
of
because they
course.
aren't
Yeah,
willing
yeah.
to adapt. So
Yeah, and that was my turnaround time when I was working in a restaurant, right? Like I might have stayed in a restaurant for like a year, like 2 years. I don't know. I was having fun, right?
yeah,
And then when that happened, I was like, oh well, this is what happens when you just don't have, you know what I mean?
right,
Like an actual office job every day. Like, and then I was like, I got to get back to an office job. I need like more security. Like my whole job just went under in 2 days, right?
right, yeah,
Um, but yeah, there's a lot. I just feel like I don't think I'm the only person who feels this way. I think like a lot of people, early 30s, probably late 20s, who've grown up through financial crises, pandemics, all this type of stuff. It's just harder and harder for us to buy into like a normal, um, I guess you can work your 9 to 5 and be comfortable and have a family and this and that. It just doesn't add up anymore.
right,
Especially not in metropolitan areas. If you go outside of there, it does for sure. but it's it's harder to find certain jobs in those areas,
Right.
right?
I mean, yeah, directly correlating to kind of where my life is with everything. So I personally manage a restaurant business as well right now.
Yeah,
I'm over 50, 60 different people right now, right? I'm over people who are in their 30s, 40s, whatever it is. And don't get me wrong, I live in a very low cost of living area, like very, very cheap to live where I am right now.
yeah,
So people who are getting paid like 16.50, $18, it is a livable wage, but you need both of your paychecks to be able to pay off your rent, kind of thing.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
both of your full paychecks, but you need to at least have partial of both of your checks. One check won't pay rent. I
yeah,
I don't know if I could survive off of like $16 an hour. Like genuinely. I don't have a whole nice house. I still rent out of an apartment. I don't have the newest car or the newest things, and I don't go out and splurge my money on everything as soon as I get paid. Like I live I think a very like moderate lifestyle. I don't completely cut off my source of income as soon as I get it. Like I do buy things if I want them. But
mhm.
it's not as easy now as it was 2018, 2019, pre-COVID.
Yeah. It's
It's
not.
impossible.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of inflation happened. A lot of stuff happened since then, and it's like, yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just always get a little bit scared of future
Yeah.
whenever I'm in a very set job. I'm always just I get a little bit like, at what point am I able to actually save money every month? Like, what
Right.
does my salary need to be? Like, then it's like, okay, then like, can I afford a house one day soon? Like,
Right.
where would that be? You know, and then it just feels too far off. And then
Right.
like I'm like, this just doesn't make sense to me anymore. And it's like, hey, if I would have stuck to something since I was 21, right, I probably would be in a good situation,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like
Right.
if I would have stuck to like investment banking, right, like I probably would be okay. But it's like when you're 21, it's like you look at 33, you're like, that's way too far off,
Right.
right?
Right. Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah. At 21, I mean, even as myself right now, I'm 24. I went from retail job to retail job to warehouse to restaurant you know what I mean? I've worked all of these like entry level jobs that I know I'm guaranteed going to get 100% because I know they're going to be looking for uh young to mid 20s, like able body, can fucking like run a shift, very strong leadership skills. I have my CDL, I have my all my qualifications for forklifts, like all of that stuff. But if I can go into a job and I know that there is room for growth instead of like the
it's
investment
important.
banking that you were talking, right? There's people who've been doing that for 20, 30 years. The chances of me moving up in investment banking in my first like 6 months are like slim to none, right?
Yeah.
The restaurant business I'm in right now, I'm for all of those at home, I'm kind of going into my whole life story here for y'all. But I got cut from my job about a month ago, right? My job in retail. I was in a very high position off in retail. I was getting paid too much. And they were like, oh, we need to find a way to cut them off. So I got cut. I was like, oh my fucking God. Like I wasn't ready for it. I didn't have my next job lined up. I was comfortable. So I was like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? I just walk in the door and I get into a restaurant business. I'm in fast food right now. It's the bottom of the bottom dirty barrel jobs, you know what I mean? But someone's got to work them. So I walk in the door, get hired. They hire me the next day, and they're like, "You're gonna have to start off as just a regular paid team member." I'm like, "That's fine. I just need money right now." 6 hours into my shift, I moved up to a shift lead. 2 weeks
Mhm.
later, I'm an assistant general manager, and within the next month, they're moving me up to the highest position in that store because I know how to work. I know how to like lead a team. I know how to do all these things. So all these people who've been working here for years and years and years haven't adapted the qualities that I have through moving job to job to job, like we've been talking about, right? So, um, being able to acquire skills as you go from job to job is definitely important. But if you can find the right job that needs those qualities that you've adapted so heavily, it's almost worth it more than the job is going to start off paying you better, but there's no way that you're going to have room to grow in the future.
Yeah. 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 I agree.
Yeah,
And I also got bored. I also couldn't imagine myself doing investment banking for like the next 20, 30 years, like or something like that.
it
Product
sounds great
management,
though.
I could have imagined it more. Product management, I could have imagined it more. It was way more like creative, and you got to work with
Yeah.
developers and stuff like that. But the banking stuff, oof, I would have
Yes.
like it's just like I can't, I'm not the kind of guy who wants to wear a suit every day to work.
Yeah, I feel you.
I feel trapped in that. Like, and then you're just in this off. It's like office politics. It's just it wasn't for me
Everyone
in the
heading to the
long run.
dinners
Also,
and passing each other's business cards and
yeah.
not
It
my
wasn't
best.
for me. I could not do that for the next like 20 years.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the entire journey from the beginning, getting into investment banking to where you are now. Has your definition of success adapted over time? Are you still trying to figure out what your definition of success means, or are you kind of settled on what success looks like for you right now?
That's a good question. Like, and what do you mean by that exactly? Like monetary success? Like what?
Yeah, so that's exactly what the question is. So when you started off, you're getting into the
Yeah,
workforce at a young age. Success probably looked a lot different than what success looks like for you now. A lot of people,
yeah,
when we start off, success looks like making the most money. But as we get
of
older, it's
course.
like, I just want to be happy. You know what I mean? I want to be comfortable. So,
I think what I'm always looking for right now in my life, and what really defines success for me is freedom, if that
mm,
makes sense.
yeah,
Like, and what is freedom is the question, right? Like what does that mean, freedom, right? And realistically, freedom is being able to have enough money also where you feel free to an extent, right? Money's tied up in it.
yeah,
It's being able to work on stuff that you want to work on personally, right? Um, and it just being able to, I guess, live wherever I want to, right? Like if I don't want to, I don't want to live in LA probably the rest of my life, right? And then that means I can't be tied down to a job in LA for the rest
sure,
of my life. But I think ideally, like what I am looking for in life is a level of freedom that I don't think I've really been able to feel. And I don't think a majority, a lot of people feel free. Like it's like we all feel tied down to something, and
yeah,
I have to go to this job every day. I have to do this. I have to do that, right? And I think that is as someone who creates a product and wants to build a product, I'm always looking for that level of freedom and kind of success.
yeah.
And I don't know if I thought about that when I was younger. I don't know if I even realized what I really wanted, but I think that's my end goal probably.
Okay, yeah, that's a solid one. Um, we're gonna kind of flip it a little bit. We're gonna see a lot of people would consider the way that you kind of lived your life up to now an extremely risky path. Taking a lot of chances and kind of just resetting yourself anytime that comfortability is kind of into play. So I'm wondering, do you interpret risk the same way that like I do or anyone watching might? Like, what happens if this doesn't work out? What happens?
Like it's funny because I was talking about this to my cousin yesterday, right? Because it's like I've been going at this Vooz thing for like a year and a half, right?
Hmm.
And we're not we have a lot more to achieve, right? And it's like it takes like a huge level of, I mean, I put a lot of my own money into these things, right? A lot of my own money into these things, a lot of my time, right? And if it doesn't work out, I'm okay. I took a shot, right? Like I took a chance, and I'm more comfortable taking a chance than not, right? But there is a lot of risk to it, and there's a lot of like there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a lot of being delusional almost,
Mm,
if I'm being honest with you, right? Like you have to have a level of like almost delusion that this is going to work, right?
yeah,
And it's like, because look, my family would be like, "What are you doing? Like, stop doing this thing." Like, everyone doesn't believe you until it
right.
works, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody does. Nobody does, right? And then, and we're doing well. Like, we have a lot more levels to get to, but we're doing well. And it's almost like you have to have that kind of belief in it, especially when you have team members on equity that are working on it and stuff like that. And it's like you have to keep them together. It's like you do have to have a level of delusion, and you have to take risks 100%. Like it's I don't spend money on anything in my life right now, right? Like I
Hmm.
drive a pretty what regular car. I got to pay my rent. I got to eat food, right? Rest of everything I make goes into booze, and it's like that's just it, right?
Yeah.
And you know, you have to make yourself believe it's gonna work.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, if you don't believe in it, no one probably else will, right? It's you have to be the person that believes in it in order to make other people believe in it at all. Because if you
Yeah, of
don't,
course,
then
of course.
who will? So yeah, I
Mhm.
definitely understand what you were saying on the point of like you gotta have to fall delusional to a fault because people are gonna tell you over and over and over again like this
Mhm.
isn't gonna work. Why are you doing this?
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
not what I raised you to do or whatever it
yeah,
happens, right?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I feel like a lot of people in my space, as far as like content creation, have heard that over and over and over again. Like,
Of
why are
course.
you,
Yeah,
why are you doing this? Like, no one wants
yeah,
to.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
24 years old. Why are you playing Call of Duty for? It's
yeah,
a
yeah. And you'll hear that your whole life when you start going against the norm, right?
yeah, absolutely
Anytime you go against the norm a little bit, people will put that doubt on you,
right.
and it's like it's just you have to kind of almost tune it out.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're accustomed to it at this point. You've been facing probably that adversity your entire life with going against the very hard constraints of the social norm of stick to the same job until you move up and then do this and then do that. And, you're kind of breaking free of those chains of what the social standard is for the job force. So you're probably used to that adversity probably all the time. Every time
Yeah.
you switch jobs, you probably hear from your mom like, "What are you doing? You had it set
Yeah,
right."
yeah,
It's
yeah. Of course, yeah. It's like, 100%. Like I still hear it today, right? I still hear it today from family members. I hear it from, you know, it's like the people that are close to me when they see like what is going on, like people that are really close to me and they see what's going on, they believe, right? They're like, okay, this is interesting, right? But from an outside perspective, everything sounds crazy.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, Now, in a weird way, do you think the fact that you walked away what most would consider like good jobs, do you think that that helped you become capable of building a company like Vooz?
Walking away from them,
Yeah, do you think walking away from good jobs brought you the capability of being able to run a company like Vooz?
like working in the good jobs, you mean?
Yeah, I mean like the ability to like build up working in a solid job environment, not working. I don't want to like shit on anyone in the retail business or fast food business. I'm in it as well. But like those are considered trashy jobs. Those are the jobs that anyone can
Mhm.
get. Not anyone can get an investment banker job. You know what I mean? That's what I mean by like a good job.
Yeah, so I think the most important stuff that I learned was in the product management space,
Hmm.
right? And that because it's so directly related, right? Like,
Hmm.
and it's like so it literally is that. So it's like building products from the ground up, working with design teams, working with development teams, doing all that kind of stuff. That as valuable experience, right? Um, but I think there's a lot that I've just learned from jobs in terms of like cases that you kind of want to work at, like stuff like that that I might not even be thinking about too much.
Yeah.
But I do think obviously product management is the most transferable and it's been the most help, like working in tech. But like outside of that, I think you just have to have a drive to want to keep pushing.
Yeah.
It's like that's the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of that kind of comes subconsciously. It's something that you don't really think about when the time comes. You don't think like every time that you're taking the next step with Vooz, you're like, oh yeah, I learned that from this. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
just
I
you
don't
just
think. Yeah,
have it now.
exactly. Yeah,
So
yeah.
bottom
I
line
would say
is
like
okay.
it would be really hard to do this, right? If I
Mhm.
didn't have direct experience in it.
Yes.
Like I feel like you really would be lost, like because it's like you don't even know where to start,
Right.
right? and then at the same time, and I mean, we can get into it in a bit, like, how I even started with it and like building teams and stuff like that, right? But there's a lot, like, if you're not a person who can develop stuff and design stuff yourself, right?
Hmm.
Which I'm not.
Hmm.
I'm not a developer. I do some design work. I'm not a developer. It's like you have to know your how to do it to kind of get the people on the project.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
You could,
absolutely.
like, if you were just like, I have an idea. Everyone has an idea, right?
Yeah.
It's like you got to know how to break that idea down and how to build it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think what it comes down to with this space, whether it's your world or my world, everyone has a perspective on the way that things should be. And I think we have established that you have a pretty unique perspective on the way that the world works. So I want to challenge you as an entrepreneur, and I want to see how you think as a business owner. So we're gonna go
Sure.
into our first mini game of the
Okay.
podcast. The brain freeze is split into these three chapters, like we talked about, and each chapter gets accompanied by its own mini game. Typically, we do giveaways for the gaming community and everything, but as this is a unique episode, I'm going to alter the mini games and make them focus more on picking your brain, your mindset on things, and kind of understanding more of how you think as an individual in this space. So our first mini game is going to be Would You Rather, the Entrepreneurs Edition. So I'm going to ask you just simple would you rather questions, and we're going to see how you think about it, kind of a little explanation with it and why you chose your choice. All right?
Oh my.
So number 1, we're going to go with would you rather burn out after 2 years chasing your dream or cruise for 10 years at a job that you don't love?
Burnout after 2 years,
All right.
for sure.
I think that
Yeah.
one we definitely kind of hit the nail on the head with that one. We got into
Yeah,
that
yeah.
pretty quickly. So, when it comes to building a product, would you rather build a product that 10 people love or one that 10,000 people kind of like?
10,000 people kind of like.
Okay, explain your why you
Yeah.
said that.
So 10 people love, right? Unless they're willing to pay $50,000 a month,
Right,
right?
right.
Like, or a year, right? It's
Yeah.
like I don't see how you can bring that to a profitable state,
Yeah.
right? And at least with huge audiences, you can bring it to a profitable state through different measures, right? So like if the numbers were different, like 5,000 and a million, right?
Hmm.
It's like maybe you can think about the million, the 5,000, right? Like, if they have the if it's a product that's worth a lot of money to them.
Sure,
But
sure.
it's a question that depends. At 10 and what was the numbers again?
It's 10 people love or 10,000 people kind of like.
I think 10 versus 10,000. I think you'd rather choose the
Right.
10,000.
Yeah, it's too
Yeah.
minimalized for you. Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
understand that. I think I understand if you maximize the numbers a little bit. In the content world, I think a lot of people would actually choose the exact opposite as that, because we have a product where people are going to come back week after week if they love what we do. Whereas
Yeah,
we can have
yeah,
one
yeah.
video go viral for 10,000 views, but if every other video is going to get one view or like two people, you know what I mean? Like that's not worth it to us. So that's a difference of opinions across the line there, I think. But so the next one we're gonna go, would you rather stay unknown but make something great or be famous for something that wasn't really you?
Oh, I stay unknown. I have no want to be famous or anything. Yeah, stay
Alright.
like no. I really have minimal want to be like at the front of the product or anything like that. But I mean, I feel like I have to be. But yeah, stay unknown is fine
Yeah,
and make something
absolutely.
great.
I think we already know the answer to this one through our conversation already, but would you rather take $1 million check and give up complete control or bootstrap for 5 more years with full freedom?
Tough question, actually. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a tough question. Give
It's a
up
lot of money.
complete control.
Yeah, complete control.
Like give up complete control. Like literally zero
Like
control
you
on
are
any.
you are not in control of any decisions that happen any longer.
Or bootstrap for 5 more years.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a tough question. I'll tell you why, right? You could do the first one, right? You could do the first one, It also depends on the relationship with the person. I agree, right?
Yeah.
You can do the first one, and like I said, gain some ability, gain some freedom in your life, right? Where you're at least gonna, you can build something else, you can work on something else, right? You're not stuck on, I just have to do Vooz, right? I'm gonna tell you this: bootstrapping for another 5 to 6 years, it sounds hard. That's my only take, because I've been doing it for a year and a half, right? So it's like bootstrapping for another 5 years is like, I'm like, oof, that's rough. It's already rough the way it is right now. I don't have a solid answer for that one.
Fair enough.
I think, yeah, because like I said, and it's not about being a sellout or anything like that,
Right, right,
right?
right,
But it's
right.
like, hey, if you can make yourself comfortable and still be able to work on your product, and then at least be able to venture into something else if you want to, right? Not a bad look on the first one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame anyone. Bootstrapping for five years is hard.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So staying on the path with booze, I think that's definitely like a solid take. Not being able to give a clear answer. It's not always going to be a crystal clear, black and white.
Yeah, it's a
Which
hard
decision are
one.
you going to make? There is going to be lines that are blurred, gray along the lines, and that probably correlates to damn near every person out there's life when it comes to a decision. Like it's not going to be crystal clear. Like, yes, this is the right decision for me. It's going to be individualized for everybody. So. When it comes to Vooz, would you rather get Vooz acquired by a major tech company tomorrow, or keep growing it slowly but on your terms?
Again, it's hard. These are hard decisions, right?
Right.
And acquire, I assume it's like literally sell it.
I mean, just kind of be acquired, and then they kind of like,
So I'll tell you this: our goal, right? Our goal is to keep everything. Our goal is not to sell Vooz
right.
really ever, right? We want to bring it to a level of profitability probably in a year, um, and we don't think we really need to raise a large amount of funds,
Yeah.
right? Like to really get it there. But like, I mean, dude, if a serious offer ever came down the pipeline in like 2 years, it's something that we would all look into very seriously, right? Um, so read the question again. I'm sorry. So acquired or
Acquired by a
keep
major
control over
tech
five
company,
years.
or keep growing it slowly on your own terms.
The key word there is slowly, which is hard, right? Because what is slowly to me? Like, what is slowly, right?
I would
Compared
say
to a big tech.
so. I'll narrow it down a little bit more. Instead of using slowly, I'll say sloped instead of spike plat. They're like spiked. You know what I mean? Is that
Yeah, I mean, like, because our plan is to grow it at a steady pace over the next year, so probably slowly over the next
okay?
5 years. Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
All right. And then we're gonna go with our final one here. Would you rather live a chill life with no regrets but no legacy, or leave a messy, chaotic legacy behind you that will outlive you?
Still life, no regrets, no legacy. I'm not a big person on legacy. That
Okay.
doesn't mean anything to me, right? Um, Still life, no regrets. And the second one, hey, no, first one, yeah. I don't want, yeah, I wouldn't want a chaotic, messy
Yeah.
life with the legacy. Yeah, the legacy is not worth much to me, in
Fair
my
enough.
opinion. Yeah,
Yeah. So we
yeah,
learned a lot about you there, man. I think you are in this for the right reasons. I think you definitely want to make a change, but you don't care that people know that it's you. You don't care about the legacy. You want to be comfortable. You want to have that freedom, like you talked about, but it doesn't mean becoming rich and famous, or having that.
yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely respect that. I think the thing that stands out to me is that most people want answers before they move into something new, but you moved into things in order to find answers about your life and everything. So that drive to chase the next problem to solve, that's what is going to lead us into our next chapter with Vooz. So the next chapter we're going to be titling From Omegle to Opportunity. Now, you said to yourself, Omegle wasn't just a site that you liked, it was a weird, chaotic, hilarious space that you just loved, right? So,
Yeah.
walk me through it. What was the actual moment when you thought, I could do this but better?
I was young. So like, yeah, like I was young. And before even my foray into tech, right? I always found that website so interesting. And I don't know if you remember Omegle, like kind
I
of
do,
like the way it
yes.
looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny ass place. And I always loved it. And I always thought it was funny. And like I just always looked at their website even when I was younger. Like I'm saying 20, I remember working at JP Morgan, right? And I remember one night looking at their website and I was like, what, how is this website the one that gets all these people on it? I was always like, this is so crazy to me, right? And it was before even like I got to that point of like working in tech, right? So then when I was working in tech, um, I started like putting my tech mind behind it and I was looking at their numbers, right? Like looking at like their organic search numbers and all this stuff. And I was like, this is crazy. I was like, this is insane that this website's getting 59 million organic search numbers to their website every month. I was like, that's so underrated. People are not seeing this, right? Like if you have any platform
Right,
that's
right,
getting 50, that's organic search. So there's probably like another 15, 20 that are just coming in
right.
directly, right? If you're getting 59 million people to your platform every single month, like you're a huge company,
Yeah,
right? But people they kind of kept under the radar a bit just because of the space that they were involved in, right?
yeah,
Like when we were younger, it just didn't get the best look. The
yeah.
internet wasn't evolved yet
Oh,
for it,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
In
for
my
sure.
opinion. I don't think the internet was there when it came out. And so that's when I started to take it more seriously, I would say. When I started looking at all the numbers, and I even was looking at the competitors' numbers, and I was like, this is a huge space. I was like, this is really interesting. It's a huge space.
Right.
And it's getting bigger, which is the biggest
Yeah,
surprise to people.
that is true. Now you were already working on the idea and kind of like conceptualizing the design of Vooz when Omegle shut down, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what was your reaction when the headline hit that Omegle shut down, your biggest competitor in the space? You know, it's
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people would think at that time, like, at that time, it was just me too, right? It was actually me and another friend, right? And at that time, you would think that we were like, "Oh my God, this is the biggest opportunity now," right? And we did feel that, but then we also knew it meant more people would come in, right? And it's like when we were going into it with just Omegle had like 80% of the market share,
mhm.
right? So we knew where everyone was going to go on a platform like this. They're going to Omegle, right?
Now it's gone, and you
Um,
don't know where they're going
it,
to now.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
now it's a little bit more spread out, and there are like a couple competitors who I look at all the time. One that stands out the most to me, who I think is going to be like the biggest competitor for us in the future. And so now it's a little bit more spread out because they did drop out and other people
right.
started building afterwards. And then we took a while to even get to launch, because we were running on bootstrapping at that time too.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, so that's exactly where our next question was gonna head to, right? So Omegle shutting down, a lot of people assume like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great for you guys, but it
People did, yeah.
actually makes things significantly harder. You talked about the spread of people going a bunch of different places. It's a lot easier to know where you're gonna target. You know where
Exactly, yeah.
people are, so you know where you need to target, but it's a lot harder to shoot in the dark and guess where people are right now.
Yeah.
Harder to see if they're still in this space at all, or if they're just spread so thinly across hundreds of different platforms that are just like this that it's going to be hard for you to kind of rally those cows in now. So
Yeah, so it's like when you looked at it before, right? You're really only comparing yourself to Omegle, right? So it's like when we were building something, we're like, what's Omegle doing?
yeah,
Build something better,
yeah,
right? And that was always our plan, right? Now it's like I'm looking at 5 to 7 platforms,
yeah,
seeing what they're doing, trying to understand like if some of the things they have on their platform are cool, if they're not, it's a
yeah.
little bit different. But um I wouldn't say it's worse or better. Like, it's really to be determined. I think it did open up a huge
Oh
opportunity,
yeah,
but
for
it's like
sure.
obviously other people saw that also.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, what made you confident that Vooz isn't going to be just another rushed clone of Omegle?
So we're not really trying to build just Omegle,
Okay.
right? Like I like the base of Omegle is anonymous video and text chatting, right? It's the base. And that is our platform at a
Yeah.
base, right? but we don't want to be a clone of there's a lot of clones of Omegle out there, like a lot,
Mhm.
that just do exactly what Omegle did, right? We wanted to build more unique stuff on the platform. Like we wanted to bring entertainment value to random video chats, random text chatting. Like we wanted to build the next level of that,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like from our perspective, it's like, yeah, like this is there. Like if you just want to just do the random video chat, which you can do on our platform, right? It's there. Like we're not going to just sit there and copy that again and hope we're going to beat them, right? It's like
Right. Right. Right.
we want to make this a continuous project where we're going to keep building stuff on top of it, building games, building abilities for people to watch TV, like
Yeah.
movies and TV shows
Yeah.
together, group video chatting. Like we want to build something just way better.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Now it's fair to say you're kind of sticky on the path of. I mean, everyone loved Omegle because of how simple it was, right? It was so simple. Um,
Correct.
you want to stay on that track of simplicity, right?
Yeah.
But you want to do something different. Now, what is your definition of different? What is your different that means to you in a real design sense in this space?
Yeah. So simple is key, right? Like, and this is something I like go through all the time, right? With our platform,
Yeah.
because 98% of our users actually go on mobile, so on the phone,
Oh, okay.
like on Safari or whatever, right? So desktop is like so easy to build out, more features and still keep it simple because you just have so much more space,
Sure.
right? Mobile phones is like you're just running with, couple 5 inches, right?
Right. Right.
So it's something we're still like trying to figure out. Like, so we want to keep it super simple. And like I just took something off the front page yesterday, right? Because I was like, well, this is just maybe too much space, right?
Yeah.
And we took something off. Um, but yeah, like there's gonna be more stuff in the actual video chats. Like
Okay.
you can play a game with someone,
Okay.
you can share your screen with someone, watch something with someone. We have chat room features, which is like our most popular feature actually,
Okay.
which is really cool. But yeah, it's like we want to keep it simple, but
Yeah.
also the interesting thing, right? Like, so you use Twitch obviously a lot, right?
Correct.
Right? Twitch, Discord, all these
Yep.
platforms that are like built towards Gen Z people,
Yeah.
right? The most interesting thing are these platforms are like the most stuff is going on at the screen at one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so I think users also, especially younger users, are used to like clutter on their screen to
Right.
an extent,
Yeah.
right? Um, which is maybe not the best in like the design world because I'll still talk to people and they're like, just because they're doing it doesn't mean it's a great idea.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like, but they're used to it.
But
There's a level of
exactly.
like,
And recognizing that is what's going to separate you from people who are like people who I mean are trying to clone Omegle for lack of a better term. They're trying to build the next Omegle, but they're trying to keep it so simple that
yeah,
that's not adapting, right? Because we are a completely
yeah,
different market than what we were when Omega was in its prime. When I
exactly.
10
Yeah, yeah,
12 years ago, when it was as simple as the home screen of Omegle was literally a text box and literally just typed out words, that's not going to appeal to people anymore. People are
yeah,
used to the pop-ups, the things flying in from the screen, whatever it is, and that opens a lot of opportunity for marketability for you. For I don't know what spaces you want to get into. We'll touch into it a little bit into chapter 3 and get into more of it in the future. But it opens up a lot more opportunity for you when you're able to recognize that, and then if you can strategically clutter the screen, then it's going to
yes,
bring a
exactly.
lot
Yeah,
more traffic for you guys.
yeah. I'm millennial, right? So I actually am used to more cleaner stuff, right?
Yeah,
Like, but I use Twitch, I use Discord all the time. TikTok, right? Instagram is even cluttered now, right?
right.
It's like you look at all these platforms that people are actually using the most of,
Yeah,
right? They are not simple platforms. Like they're not. Like Twitch is crazy. Like even Discord has a level of like, there's a lot going on when you're in a certain server, or,
right.
like in a Discord channel, right? Like Twitch, Kick is wild, right? There's
Yeah,
stuff on all aspects of the
yeah,
screen, right? And it's like, I don't think it's a huge thing. Like, it's going to be simple enough where you know what you're doing,
yeah.
right? But I also like strategically made it so like when you go on our platform, there's a chat room right there that's popping off at all
Mm-hmm.
times, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I looked at Twitch and I'm like, there's always stuff like going on in chats and this and that. I'm like, I think people like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think people like having a feeling of like this is alive.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, you mentioned that one competitor is kind of shining out among the rest of the competitors that you currently have right now. Without naming names, what are things that they are doing right that you feel that you could adopt and do better?
So just a couple things. So they are simple,
Hmm.
like they are kind of an Omegle clone in their own way, right?
Okay.
Um, they came out around a couple months after Omegle closed down. They have built like a little community around their platform. They strategically did the right things, right? I think the
Okay.
people that are behind it are smart. I think they have the capability to adapt into other spaces. The main thing that I love about their platform is their ability to go from match to match in a really, really cool way.
Hmm.
And it's really quick, something that we're actually working on.
Yeah.
So it's like stimulates your brain a lot. Like you can swipe through people like crazy, right?
Got you.
Go next like really quickly, right? So I actually really I think they're probably the biggest challenge in the future. They're going to be like probably our biggest competitor in the future, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And just because I believe the people behind it are smart, they strategically knew exactly what they were doing to get users, and they put their money in the right places also.
Sure.
Yeah, and that they are, in my opinion, they're one of the biggest platforms right now. And I think they're probably going to be like the biggest people that we look at in the future in this
Right.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about the early conception of Vooz. Now it started off with just you, correct? You
Yes.
didn't have any partners, any team going into it when we first started off. So when we first started bringing members in and you started working with more people, what was the first big debate, like design concept, visual wise? What was the first big debate that maybe you pushed for that others
Oh yeah,
disagreed
I
with? Or
remember.
yeah, what's that?
I remember probably the moderation.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, so we decided right now our platform is AI moderated, right?
Okay.
So it's like it doesn't, you know, nudity will get banned really quickly,
Yeah.
right? But when we first launched, we were like, let's have a moderated section, an unmoderated section, all this kind of stuff,
Mm.
right? Um, that was probably our biggest. And then we spoke to like a bunch of younger users, right? 18 to 25. You moderated is the way to go.
Yeah,
Like they
absolutely.
don't want it. And I agree with it. I don't want to see dicks and this and that.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
I'm trying to just get to new users, right? I totally agree with that perspective, right? So that was probably our biggest like, okay, what exactly are we doing in that aspect? But yeah, we chose to go with moderated.
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely a question that was going to come up a little bit later on, but I was definitely curious how your moderation feature works because as
Sure.
someone who's coming up in the age after Omegle, nothing puts a damper on my fond memories of Omegle as reminding me that every 2 minutes I saw a dick fly across my screen.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Yes.
yeah. So,
That's like we had a very interesting moderation perspective on the platform, which I can go over whenever you'd like
yeah.
me to.
Yeah, that'd be good. Let's finish off the last two questions here and we actually go into that chapter where we'll talk about that right away. So,
Okay.
Um, so there is something that is kind of like a weird, powerful, like stimulation of anonymous connection. What do you think that it unlocks in people that the typical social media platform can't?
It's a really good question. Sorry, give me 1 second.
No problem.
It's a really good question, right? I think the biggest piece of it is strictly just like freedom, right? Like it's like when you're tied down to it's like, you technically like Tinder could be like in a way like anonymous
Yeah,
communication, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like you can just connect with people randomly and stuff like that, right? But I do think it just opens up a level of freedom for people that are not like looking for anything specific, right? So a lot of people are just want to hang out with people, just want to meet people. There's just a lot of I think a lot of other platforms are way too like specific in what people are looking for at that moment. Where this is just a free flowing, hey, I just want to go on here and meet people.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And there's nothing behind it too. Nothing behind it to your name or anything like that, unless you want it to be.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Now, what's one thing that you think that people don't realize about building a platform in this space, especially after the original version has already come and passed its term of virality like years ago, almost a
Yeah.
decade ago.
One thing people don't realize,
Yeah, what's something that people don't realize about building a platform in this space?
it's a huge space, first of all. Like I don't think people understand that. Like it's a huge space. Like you're talking millions upon millions of users, like 20 to 40 to 50 million users a month are looking for platforms like this.
Sure.
So it is a really, really big space, right? Also, I think, the hardest part about platforms like this is just it's just figuring out a strategic way to moderate them. And that includes AI moderation nowadays, which wasn't available, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And just building that out is not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. No, yeah, that's some great points. We're gonna end chapter 2 here, because I think there's a lot of points that we need to touch on going into chapter 3, and we've been going pretty long here as it is already. So we're gonna switch into chapter 3, the vision of the Vooz, and we're gonna talk about some features that make you guys stand out, some things that are coming up soon or just came to the platform, some ideas that you guys have to branch out, and what makes you guys a little bit more stand out than the other platforms that you have as competitors. So you didn't just build Vooz in this like little vacuum, you stuck to yourself kind of thing. You built it while switching industries, funding it yourself, pulling together a team during what easily could have been the give up phase. So let's talk about the real vision behind Vooz, what it's taken to get this far, and how you guys intend on standing out and being the dominator of this
Yeah.
area.
So, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Should I just start? Yeah.
Yeah,
So what it's taken to kind of get this far. Look, if you don't have a decent amount of money to put into certain things, right? Building I'll say this, building anything from the bottom up is really, really hard,
yeah,
right? It's hard for a couple different reasons. Number one, if you don't have the money to put into it yourself, right? That means you are figuring it out on the way
yeah,
and you're grabbing people, basically building them on what the dream is and asking them to come work basically for nothing besides a belief,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So at the beginning of this, I did put in a decent amount of money to get designs built out, right? So I was like, hey, I knew what I wanted to build. I knew what I wanted to look like. So I started getting designs built out, right? The next level is like getting developers to help, right? I didn't have the funds to pay for developers. Honestly, I suggest if you're ever going to build anything, I don't think you should be paying developers to do it. I think you should find people who have a similar belief in you,
yeah,
right? That want to build it on their free time because those people are usually the most committed, in my opinion.
yeah.
So that was a whole thing in itself. And I luckily, I found my front end developer. Or I actually found all of my developers on Reddit, which is the coolest part. My
Okay.
whole team. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I was able to find like a really good front end developer. We went through a ton of back end developers. We're finding our good back end developer. Like it was a process.
Yeah,
It was not easy. Like we were a bunch of times we were like, holy crap, this is just like so hard to get just a solid team together that wants to do this, right? But like if you just keep pushing, you will find those people.
yeah.
And you will find those people that believe in it as well. What was the other part of that question?
What it's taken to get this far, and just we're gonna go into some of the things of how you guys are gonna stay ahead of the competition going into the future and everything. Um,
Yeah. So and I'll just give a time frame on everything, right? Is
sure.
like this is like a year and 8 months of work, basically,
Yeah,
at this far. And it's crazy thinking about that right now. It's like crazy to think about that
yeah,
I've been on this journey for that long.
yeah, yeah. It's
And we still
definitely
have so much to go, which is
right.
the craziest part. Yeah.
It's a good chunk of time. I think the beauty of building it at such a steady pace is that you haven't reached the finish line yet, or you haven't like you can keep like chunking. You know, what I mean, you get to
Hmm.
do a little bit more and a little bit more, and like, okay, we finished this week. Good week, guys. Next week we do this. Like you know what you're
Yeah.
gonna do next week, and that's the beauty of like doing something like this is you always have something to do. So
Always. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have basically like the next year, we know what we're gonna be building out. And
yeah,
it's like, but stuff always comes up. Like that's the hardest part.
yeah,
Like stuff always come up. We're like, shit, we got to work on this for like 3 weeks now.
yeah.
Yeah, of
Give me a couple examples of things that could be like just kind of pop ups that disrupt the workflow.
course. Yeah. Um, I mean, you just always have the belief when you build something that it's going to work right,
Yeah.
right? And then so like an example is our moderation, right? Is like super crazy that we built this out by scratch. So we built like an AI moderation tool just from nothing,
Yeah.
right? It's really just challenging, and it's pretty cool that we did this. And then we're always fine tuning it. We're always like, oh, we have to like figure out how to ban people quicker or put a blur on their screen or do this or do that. And like we're always working on that. Then we have a video chat flow. So it's like if I connect with you, right, how long is that taking for it to
Mm,
connect, right? Now we're like looking at how to make it almost instant because we don't want it to take a couple seconds for the video to connect. That's all. It sounds simple, right?
yeah.
From probably an outsider perspective, it's like weeks of work because we have to go through all of our code for our video chat connections,
Right.
figuring out how to make it faster. We're doing a ton of testing behind it. It's not an easy process. Um, and that's just kind of like a small piece we're working on right now,
Right.
right? Or, we're like, oh, we got to moderate some of the chat room some more. We have to do this, we have to do that. So it's always sometimes I'm like, I really want to start working on other features, but I'm like, there's such a backlog of some stuff we have to figure out at the same time. And it's like,
Right.
we want to work fast. I mean, we want to release stuff to keep more users engaged,
Right.
but we also have to make sure everything's working really
You have to do
smoothly.
it right. Yeah. Make sure that it's being done right as you're doing it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's almost always going to be a balancing act, right? You're always going to
Always.
have
Yeah.
the stuff that you want to release, and that's going to be the exciting stuff, the stuff you're looking forward to. But you always have to keep revisiting the stuff that's quote unquote boring, the stuff that's already been worked on, it's already finished, you already wrote it off in the notebook. You're like, all right, this is done. Don't got to worry about it anymore. And then you go like a
Yeah.
week later, you're like, fuck, you gotta go back, you gotta work on it again. And the next week, you're like, fuck, you gotta go back and work on it again. You just gotta keep working on it because especially when you're using a tool of AI, right? There's gonna be things that influence that in the way that you did not intend to influence it, right?
Of
That's
course. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, like now one of our main things with the platform after we did build out a bunch of features, right? And it's unexpected that we're here is how do we make everything faster and smoother?
yeah,
Because it's like and it's like our platform is pretty decent. It works pretty well, but we're like we need it at a certain level now because we're trying to go after a really big audience, and it's
yeah,
like we can't have something slow down. we,
right,
we just like now it's like, and this is unexpected. Like we were going to build a new feature, but now we're like this is priority number one, and
yeah.
it's probably going to be like like a month and a half of work, maybe longer.
Right. Yeah, optimization is huge for the entire entertainment and for the entire entertainment industry. Just to connect worlds a little bit, you know what I mean? Like as content creators, the first 5 seconds of our video are the absolute most fucking crucial part if people are going to keep watching our
Yeah,
video. If the
exactly. Yeah,
first
yeah,
5 seconds of someone's experience using Vooz are them connecting video to another person, the chances of them clicking off just drastically increased, probably to about 50 to 80%. Like, so
yeah, yeah,
that's working on those fast tracks is another way that is going to help you guys stand out because I'm sure there are other competitors out there who have already figured out this fast track system. So everyone is doing like, say everyone is working on their camera quality, like their speed to connect, the whatever, like how fast you can start typing in the chat room, how fast you can start using features once you connect to each other, all of that fun stuff. But maybe their moderation is absolute shit. You know what I mean? So
hmm
you guys have the best of both worlds where you're focusing on this a little bit, and then you focus on this a little bit, and you guys are focusing on both of these, and then you release a new feature, and then you have these three things to focus on, and you focus on this for a couple months, and then you release another new thing, and you keep bringing things in. Whereas people are like, yeah, we have the fastest connection rate possible, and you're like, okay, maybe we're like a second slower connection rate, but we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this to also accommodate you guys, so you guys are still
yeah,
entertaining after you
yeah. It's
connect.
it's always a game of like of you know, just not spending too much time on
Yes.
everything,
Yeah.
but spending enough time on things to make sure it's 90% there, I would say,
Yeah.
if that
Yeah.
makes sense, right? It's like because that extra 10% can be like another couple weeks of work, and it's
Right.
like we don't have the time for that. It's like we got like, okay, this is working pretty good, like go. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then we come back to it later and fix it if we need to,
Right.
but we have to move on to stuff.
I mean, the biggest thing is that everything, every single day, is a new day. Like, we are at the most adaptable that we have probably ever been as a human race, fucking ever. What is popular
Yeah.
today will not be popular in like 36 hours. That's
Hmm.
just how it is. So
It is, yeah.
if it is functional enough now, it's functional enough to last at least a couple more days, and then we're gonna have to revisit this because it's not gonna be functional like next week. So you
Yeah.
guys, yeah,
And
it's
and
go,
and, and this is some stuff that I learned in my product management days, right?
yeah,
Is like you can't perfect everything,
absolutely,
right? And it's like you gotta just release stuff
yeah,
and not be kind of scared, right? And it's also like it's always a limitation of time. You're always like that's always what you're looking at is like time spent on things, right? And all my team's time is really valuable because they all work full-time jobs and then
yeah,
they work on this project, right? So it's like we really always have to like make sure like, hey, the time we're spending on these different things, like we can't spend months on I only have 2 developers, right? Like, it's
right,
these are the 2 developers who built everything, right? Like, if
right,
we had a team of 10, like, holy shit, like, we can build so fast, we can make sure things are perfect and stuff like that, but we're always like, we just have to get it to a point
where it's
that
usable.
works really well,
Yeah,
is usable, and we gotta release it, and
yeah,
then, you know what I mean? If we can come back to things and fix it all the time, that's not a problem.
yeah, absolutely. I think that's a connection point as well with content creation. Something I learned very early on in my content creation career. I was told, uh, you don't need to get your video to 100% perfection because
N
then if
yeah,
it doesn't hit the numbers that you're expecting it to hit, you're going to become that much more disappointed. So you want to release right around the 75 to 80% completion mark. So then if your views don't hit, you have something to correct, you have something to come back to, kind of thing. You don't put too much expectation and hope into everything and hope that you grow a million more users next month because you perfected that AI moderation and you're like, I hope this is going to bring so much more. You don't get that disappointed. You don't get that
yeah,
anticipation built up to be let down. So,
yeah, I'm all about, like, releasing stuff as quick as we can.
yeah,
And it's like we have the user base right now where we can do that and not worry too much,
yeah,
right? It gets a little bit more scary when you have a couple million people on your platform every month. You know, it gets more scary on like perfecting things and stuff like that. But it's like, you know, at this stage, we're like release, 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 go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, if it doesn't work perfectly, it's okay, you know, and but it's also, I think, key that is why like some users have stayed on our platform and
yeah.
communicated with us and stuff like that. They kind of see that we're trying to build something cool.
Yeah, for sure. Before we get into a few more directed questions, I just want to go back about 5, 6 questions ago in the last chapter. We said we were going to push something onto this chapter. Did we cover what you wanted to talk about, or did you still have some things you wanted to say on that?
On what part?
So we were in the last chapter, and you said, "Do you want to talk about this now, or do you want to like wait a little bit on this?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're going to go into the next chapter in a couple of questions."
I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I was hoping that you would. Guys, this
I
is why I
remember I
always
said
have my
something. I don't
notebook
remember.
right next to me, and I
I
don't
don't.
have it
It's
today.
it's all good. It's all good. I don't remember.
Okay, sounds good. Hopefully it'll come up in the memory as we talk about a few more things here. So, um, we've briefly covered like money issues, delays, the doubt with the whole project altogether. Um, what is the closest that you ever came to quitting this project? Like, tell me about how low the
I don't think.
mentality got with it.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever an option. But I don't think
Oh,
I ever
okay.
actually was like, oh, we're quitting, right? Um, yeah, I don't think it was ever like an option. I always just believed that we could do it and
Sure.
like that we're always gonna move forward, right? And we always will. Like I never really was like, oh, we're dropping this, or like
Hmm.
if this doesn't happen, we're dropping it. That never really crossed my mind.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
I
totally
mean,
fair.
there's been low points a lot, right? Where it's like, I'm worried about money, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that, right? That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Um, but our team tends to figure out ways forward all the time.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
That leads right into the next question, actually. As far as a Vooz team, we talked about how when you're just starting out, you need to be able to, if you don't have the money to fund it yourself, you need to go out there and find someone who has the funding. And then you have to sell the whole project to them and you have to get them passionate about what you're passionate about, right? So now that you've had this startup, you've been going for a year and 8 months, right? What does a Vooz teammate look like to you? I don't care about their technical skills. I don't care about how good of a developer they are. I want to know the
Yeah,
mentality, the
it's a good
vision with
question.
everything. What does a Vooz teammate look like to you?
So this is important, I think, for any startup, small company, anything, right? Um, you just never want someone that you want problem solvers. Like meaning like every one of us, developers, the people that help with marketing, all of this kind of stuff, right? We've all come to points where it's like, I don't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like I can go to the developer and be like, yo, we got to figure this out, this out, right? And this is why I love my developers so much, right? They'll never come to me and say, I don't know what to do,
Yeah.
right? It's always like I gotta go figure out how to do it,
Right.
right? And it's like Jaden, who's my good friend who works who does marketing with me and stuff like that, right? I could say to him, hey, like we got to do this and this and this, right? And like, when we first started, he might call me and be like, dude, I'm not sure what to do. I'm like, you have to figure it out. Like, don't call him. Like, you got to just figure it out. I don't know what to do either, man. Like, go look it up online. Like, we have to
Yeah.
figure it out, and that's I think that's the most important mentality for anything is like, I don't need 10 people who are specialists in
Yeah.
something, right? You need like a couple people who just have that mentality of like, we'll figure stuff out.
Right. When you say jump, they say how high, kind of thing. Yeah.
It's not like that really, but it's like because everything any one of the team members are doing, I do. Like, if my developer's up to 5 a.m., I'm with him
Yeah. Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
to him, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's more like there's so many unknowns in everything that we're doing. There's no time to be like, hey, I don't know what to like.
Right.
Asking me saying I don't know what to do is like
Right.
me neither, dude. Like,
Yeah. It's like,
like, you think I knew what I was doing in the beginning? Like,
yeah.
no, we figured it out. You know what I mean? Like that's the key to everything. Is like everything's available now.
Right.
Like, everything's available on the internet. Everything's available with Chat GPT.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to build anything, if you have the time, you can do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. When it comes to a startup, especially in this space where there's millions and millions of potential viewers and users available to you, what is something about getting a startup started that no one warned you about that you learned the hard way real quick?
Oh, I would say with consumer products, like B2B is different, right? But B2C, meaning like we're trying to get a bunch of people on the platform,
Okay.
it's these things take a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because it's like these platforms are very profitable, right? But
Hmm.
it's like you have to get it to a certain extent. You have to
Right.
get it to a certain place where you're getting a couple million users on a month to get it there, right?
Right.
That takes investment. No matter what, you can you can have the most viral videos in the whole entire world, but it doesn't matter. You need to put money into the business in different aspects to
Absolutely.
kind of build a bigger user base. And consumer products are really challenging with that, in my opinion.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the kind of a meshing of worlds that is available when it comes to platforms like this. Obviously, there were creators out there who were I don't even know how else to explain them other than they were Omegle creators. Like there were
Yeah,
people
still
out
are. Yeah,
there like the
still a
biggest one
group of
that
them.
comes to mind is like the do goes online, he
Hmm.
goes and plays guitar to random people. There's Marcus Veltri, I believe his name was. He does
Yeah,
the
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing. Like a lot of I'm naming music people off, but I mean there's different spaces with that. People troll people, people host interviews, like it's a like host game shows. There's all these different outlets out there for content creators to create content on anonymous interaction platforms, right?
Yes.
How do you play into this space?
It's very important, right? Like it's actually like so like I have three pillars to how we market our product, right? Um market influencers and that and those people are like the third, second or third most important thing to us, right? So we do have a couple influencers signed to our platform, who do content on our platform, who push it out to people, right? We like that needs to be expanded more,
Yeah.
right? Um, and a lot of these influencers who do this kind of content are like the coolest guys. Like they I speak to them, like they're hyped about this, right? But it's like you need to there's a very important, right? Like, but the coolest part about a platform like this, right, is like once you start growing to a certain level, that kind of content happens organically, right? But you do need a group of people who do these videos to kind of use our platform. And we have been utilizing a couple, but we have to expand that more.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you go about the basket, so to speak, of all of these content creators who have been creating a content on, I'm just going to keep
Yeah.
using Omegle for reference, but been creating content on Omegle for years, years and years and years. And you have to balance that choice between, okay, this guy's getting a lot of views, but we already
Mhm.
have someone who's posting the same kind of content. Are you trying to expand out into different niches of content to do on your platform? Are you trying to get one person who does music, one person who does
Not
like game
exactly.
show?
It's more where like we just speak to people that the content that we like, I
Yeah.
guess you can say.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then also, some of these guys are so big that like it's like, they're not really
It
gonna
doesn't matter. Yeah,
do
it's not going
anything
to be
for
conflict
a
of
certain amount of
interest.
money, right?
Okay.
Like where it's like then you have to weigh, is that even worth it? Because a lot of times it's not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, so it's like it's kind of like a game like that where it's
Yeah.
like we'll look at, we know who the big ones are and we'll reach out to them and speak to them and see like what they're thinking. We have a couple signed on equity to our platform.
Okay.
So they do videos for us, just based on equity, right? Because they're like, this is cool, like let's try and build this, right?
Yeah.
But it's like I said, we also don't have the funds to be like, hey, who's the biggest guy
Right, right.
and get him to do videos on our platform. I'm not even sure if it's worth it though at the end of the day. Like it could not be worth it to pay those guys the money they want.
Like the biggest guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it might not be, right? It's like because you have to look at like cost per acquisition for a user.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like when you start like really looking into this kind of stuff, it's like, you know, um, someone's like, oh, I want 30 grand for a video. It's like that can go into so many
Oh
places,
yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, but yeah, a lot of the people we speak to is kind of just like the videos that we like, and then become friendly with
Sure.
them, and like those relationships kind of grow from there.
Yeah, so let's talk about oh man, I was right on track with that, and then as soon as you said that I got sidetracked and then my head went into a whirlwind. All right, back to the
Oh,
questions that
you're
I have
good.
written down. All right. Um if Vooz becomes everything that you believe it can be, compared to now, what changes? For creators, for random users, for the internet as a whole, what has to happen for Vooz to be where you want it to be?
Um, okay, let's start at the beginning. What was the three you just mentioned? Creators?
Creators, random
Yeah.
users, and just the internet as a whole.
All right, creators, like we're gonna give them kind of like especially creators that we converse with, right? We're gonna give them a lot of flexibility to use our platform in a bunch of different ways, which a lot of these other platforms don't. They just are regular kind of users, right? We're gonna give them more capabilities to make better content. And that's like one of our things that we talk to our influencers right now. Like we want to give them the tools to make better content
Sure,
on these platforms, right? For your average user, it's just going to be like a fun, safe space
sure.
to just meet people. And it's like, I'll go into this right after. I think this is what I was talking about, our theory on moderation. That was that
Oh
question
yeah,
we
yeah,
kind of
yes, yes, it was. Yeah.
dismissed, right? And I'll go into how that ties into that user in a second, right? And then what was the third one? The internet
Just
as a
yeah,
whole.
the internet as a whole.
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just a weird place for people to meet, honestly.
All
Like
right.
it could just be like good content for everyone
Sure.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll go into our moderation theory,
Yeah.
right? So one of the main things, and this affects that user, which is why I remembered it, right? One of the main things that we're trying to do with our platform is not over moderate in the slightest bit,
Hmm.
right? Like we kind of want to have a theory like similar to like what Reddit has, I guess you can say,
Yeah.
where they have just like overarching rules
Yeah.
and then just let the community run with it.
Yeah.
And it's like that's kind of where we're going with our moder like I don't want this to be over moderated.
Right.
Like, we don't want nudity and anonymous chats because it's just annoying, right? Like we're still like, do we we might be like just moderate like racist terms, right? Because I just don't really like seeing that kind of stuff. But then just be like, hey, like this is just our couple rules, and then you guys are
Right.
free,
Right.
right?
It's definitely a balancing act because you don't want to be like, be home by 10 or you're going to be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
you
yeah.
also
Like I
just
like
gotta
the
be
last
like,
thing,
go ahead.
like it's like the internet is weird, right?
Oh, yeah.
We know this.
100%. Yeah.
This is a kind of a little bit of an odd space,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like it brings in a whole bunch of different users from all these different places, right? We're like we're going about our moderation like super slowly, meaning like we did the nudity, which we always knew we were gonna do, right? But it's like touching other pieces of it, we're like we're just trying to be like really careful with it because we just want to make sure like we want our theory is like we want to give the product to everyone
Yeah.
and let them decide how they want to use it,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. I think a community that picks who or how they want things run is kind of the safe way to run things. I think a shining example of this for like a recent media that's kind of blown up relatively overnight, to be honest, was Kick. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They have a moderation theory, like kind
right.
of like yeah, you can keep going. Yeah,
Yeah. So Kick, for those who aren't super into the streaming space, Kick is basically Twitch's like biggest rival right now. And for a very long time, Twitch did not allow like slots, gambling, obviously nudity, but like I don't feel like we need to discuss that. Cursing, like all these different things. Twitch is very, very hard on TOS. People get banned every day for saying just like something in a side comment, and it was
yeah.
such strict rules that another platform came to rise up, formed and made by streamers for streamers, which is Kick. And it started out really fucking rough. Like they got the worst of the worst creators on Kick because they came from
Those are
being
the
banned
ones.
on
Those are the ones that were
Twitch.
kicked out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the ones who were in the shadow realm from being banned forever, but for good reason. Like these people should not have
yeah.
had a fucking platform. But they came to Kick, and to be fair, a lot of them still are on Kick, but they've kind of been reformed because instead of saying, get out, we don't want you here, they've been told, we want you here, but we really need you to at least follow like our very simple like guidelines. Like, just don't be a piece of shit. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like we're like very like because sometimes people will go on our platform right now, right? And they'll be like, dude, what is like these trending interests? Like, what is this? What is that? Like, and I'm like, I don't want to over moderate things yet, right?
yeah,
Like it's like, I know it's a little weird, right? But it's like,
yeah,
the second you start clicking those buttons of like shut this down, shut this down, shut this down,
yeah,
I think it takes away a little bit of the fun,
yeah,
in my
absolutely.
opinion, right? And it's like I said, like there's some things I just personally don't like. Like I don't want to go on my platform and see like the N word being spammed,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like, what I mean?
absolutely.
Like it's like some basic stuff like that, right? But it's like outside of, and we're still like thinking about like, people are in our chat rooms and they'll say something sexual, right? And it's
Right.
like, I don't know, like maybe we just let that free for all happen.
Yeah,
Like it's a
yeah,
global chat room with thousands of people. Like let it be weird, right?
right,
Um, so that's kind of like what we're trying to like we have a theory behind it and like we're trying to implement it like really slowly because we
right.
just don't want to over moderate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the fun of something that comes with like, and Call of Duty doesn't really have this theory anymore. But I'm going to go into Call of Duty because that's where this primary audience is going to be, is the Call of Duty community. That's where people have been watching from recently. So Call of Duty is, in some regard, maybe over the history of Call of Duty is a better example, but there is a moderation theory where if you're going to be just straight up racist, you're going to get banned. But
Yeah,
there's a little bit of a fun twist of things when you go into a lobby and you shit on someone. If they're going to be pissed off at you and like throw all these things around, or they're going to be like, "Hey,
yeah,
good game." That's a lot of the
yeah, yeah.
anticipation
It's
and the
it's
fun with
it's
it that
fun.
comes from.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So like it's kind of like yes, and it's like the last thing I kept like because I have someone in our team be like, oh, we should moderate this or this. I'm like, we gotta just like relax, dude. Like it's like this is if people are doing it, like maybe that's what they want.
Right, right, right.
You know what I mean? Like we're giving them a product. Like I don't think I should be telling them how to use it.
Yeah. No, that's
You
valid.
know what I mean?
As long as I think safety is at the forefront, which
Safety,
yeah,
yeah, safety's at the but it's like it's a fine line, right? It's like
that is
when do you
true.
cross over, right? And it's like obviously don't want minors on the platform, I really don't want nudity on the platform,
Yeah.
right? Those are my two main things. And then like it's like outside of that, it's like you're really like going on a fine line of like what do you shut down, what do you not shut down?
Yeah.
With keeping it in the spirit of like this is like we released this thing, and if this is how you guys are using it, like
Right.
that it's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Going back to my question that I forgot earlier because I remembered it as we were talking there. So I want to know, you're talking about being profitable by end of calendar year this year or by next year.
So it all depends on a couple things,
Okay.
but like there's yeah, it depends. Like you can keep going with your question now,
Okay.
but
So
hopefully a year, hopefully a year.
okay. So let's talk about how the profitability works. You're talking about spending a lot of money, you're investing in a lot of things, you're putting creators on the platform. How do you see your return? Are there subscription features? Are
Yeah,
there
it's a good question. All right, I'll kind of go a little bit like back to like what's going on in this whole space in general, right?
okay?
Omegle, they actually made all their money from advertisements,
Yeah.
and they made a lot of money from advertisements, like an absurd amount. Advertiser revenue, always there, right? It's going to be there. We'll have to figure out how we're going to implement it exactly, right? But there's a lot of features on these platforms right now, which are kind of like pay to play in a way.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're a guy going on the platform, you want to match with a female, it's going to cost you X amount, right? Like
Okay.
for a certain period of time. You want to match someone at a location. Like there's all these things that you can do, right? So here's our theory behind this and kind of like how we're gonna monetize, right? Similar to like gaming in a way, right? There's a lot of places you can implement microtransactions, but it has to be worth it for the user, of course.
Yeah.
But the main difference between our platform and other platforms is we've implemented a system, like the if you go on our platform, you'll see like little diamonds, right?
Okay.
We've implemented a system where you are just getting those diamonds just by video chatting, text
Cumulatively just
chatting
by using.
people
Okay.
using our platform, right? And then on top of that, we're implementing like a this is kind of cool. We're implementing a gaming system where if I match with you, I can actually bet those diamonds against you,
Oh, okay.
right? And which kind of is fun. We liked it. We were
Yeah.
like, fuck it, let's release it like that. So there's all these ways that you can get these diamonds, right?
Sure.
We're going to have some features tied to them, of course, right?
Okay.
Look, I'm going to make something fun. We're going to make something really fun, and we're going to make it so you can be a free user on our platform and enjoy everything,
Yeah.
right? That was like our main thing. It's like I didn't want just pay to play stuff. I was like use our platform. You're going to get stuff, and we're going to be very free about it, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to be like cheap with it, but we will have a process where if you want to buy these diamonds and stuff like that, like you can,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
right? And like there could be avatar customization. We have avatars on our platform, matching with a female, location matching, obviously stuff like that. But we have a lot of other interesting ways that we're gonna use those diamonds also.
Sure. Nice. Yeah, I like that. Um Now we talked at the beginning of this. You said you have some new features that recently dropped on Vooz, and I am curious, what do you have implemented right now that you were excited about? And what do you have coming up soon if you are willing to share those things that we could be
Sure.
looking forward to?
Yeah, so we just launched a gaming feature right now. It's very simple. So you can flip a coin for diamonds, right?
Okay.
You can video chat, like you can split screen with people and all this kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
We are launching something today, which I'll touch on right now. And it's kind of like in vein of like everything that I'm kind of talking about like, you know, kind of like I'll explain in a second, right? So our platform, we have these diamonds and all this kind of stuff, right? On the platform, like I'm discussing with you. So we always wanted to somehow involve a cryptocurrency into our platform,
Okay.
right? And what we're doing is actually, and I'll kind of explain, we are actually going to launch a pre-sale for a cryptocurrency for our platform. And the reason for this is right now we do have some investors into the platform, but we need a certain marketing budget to keep kind of pushing forward and to
Hmm.
build a lot of users, right? But the key thing is we know as we build users onto our platform, we're going to start releasing these monetization features, right? the crypto is going to come into play where every single person that wants to actually buy diamonds, we're going to give them a huge discount if they actually use our crypto, which actually ends up going back into the whole market as a whole.
Okay.
So that's something kind of big that we're releasing. And it kind of goes into the vein of like what I've always been describing, that we're always kind of doing things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I haven't seen many consumer products like this. Like it's a very interesting test on the market, right?
Yeah, for
Where
sure.
to see if like people are interested in this, because I haven't seen many consumer products actually test to see if they can essentially crowdfund, because that's essentially what like a crypto, like a meme
Yeah.
coin is,
Yeah.
right? It's essentially a crowdfund with a whole group of people to see if we can build this product further, build up a huge community with it, and actually push people back to using the coin, which
Sure.
is interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely a double-edged sword that comes with that, and I'll have a relation to like content again in a moment here, but like when you do something like this, obviously this would be a huge step in the market if everything goes right, right?
Yeah, of
That
course. Yeah, yeah.
it goes back to, I mean, the way that you've been living your entire life is just a giant risk, right? You have something that's comfortable, you have sure things that other competitors have used in the past, that you have a solid base to build off of when it comes to like, how Omegle was successful. You probably have the entire fucking blueprint mapped out of how Omegle made their money, but you have to implement more because we're in a new age,
Yeah.
right? So you have the guarantee, you know what is going to work, but you've released a new feature that could or could not work, and you aren't sure. If it does work, it could pay dividends above what was the guarantee, but if it doesn't work out, then it was better to take the safe option.
Well, so with this, we found it very interesting. So we always planned on introducing a crypto into our platform,
Okay.
right? And we always planned on it. Like that was always our goal at the end of the day, right?
Okay.
We didn't plan on doing it this early. We wanted to release a bunch of the monetization features to kind of show the use first, right?
Okay.
Um, so here's the thing. Like I said, this the whole project has been fully funded by myself and my teammate Jaden, right? We know there's a huge market for this product, and we know that like we're getting 75, 80,000 users to our platform every month with
Sure.
like kind of like a limited amount of funds,
Sure.
right? um and we want to grow and we want to get more users on the platform. It's going to take a large amount of funds for us to do that, right? We look at this as a way to kind of, like I said, crowdfund our user base to kind of believe in what we're doing,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Everything's very legitimate. Like our liquidity pool is locked up. This is not something we're trying to pull on any one of our customers. Like we have a very, mature product
Yeah.
that we've been working on for years. We know how it's going to get implemented, right?
Of course. Yeah.
It's a risk for sure. It's a risk, but we find it like very interesting to see like, especially like how this ends up playing out.
Hmm.
Because if this works out the way we do believe, we're going to be able to grow this pretty fast.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to get a lot more users onto our platform. And on top of that, we're going to be able to implement this crypto into our platform, which
Right.
we find pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
Which no, like from what we've looked at, right? There's really not many platforms that are like a lot of meme coins and stuff like that. They have like, hey, we're going to build
Hmm.
XYZ. Let's raise the funds through the coin, right? There's no real way to bring it back full
Hmm.
circle into like getting more users to buy the coin. We find this very interesting because there is a very, very key way to do that.
Yeah. I think I think the way to tell if this is going to be a successful theory, right, with the way that you're going to run everything, specifically about bringing the money back and everything, I assume there's already competitors out there who have implemented crypto into their platform, right?
No, not
Oh,
in this space.
really? Okay.
Yeah, not in this space. So it's like not in this space at all. So that's also like the we always wanted to, like I said, like we always
Right.
were thinking about how we could. And not even like just our own coin, so you can buy with crypto and anything, right?
Right.
But there is not another competitor who has
So this is entirely
their
unique for the space.
yeah, very unique. Yeah, yeah.
So the second that another competitor starts using crypto, you know that you already won.
If another competitor copies us, yeah. Like I mean it's gonna depend on the success of it. Yeah. I mean, like there's a huge market for this product, right?
Yeah.
We believe we built something really cool, and we're
Hmm.
gonna keep building something really cool, right? Um, Basically like this, and we're very clear about all this. Like this is actually all coming out today. We're very clear about how we're gonna spend the money from this crypto, like very clear.
Yeah.
It's all laid out exactly what our plan is,
Yeah, that's
right?
smart. Yep.
Yeah. This helps us grow. It helps us put the money in the right places. Possibly can bring in a developer of ours full time, right? And it helps us fly at a pace that like we're gonna be like, okay, now we really are able to bring in the audience we want to.
Okay.
Because look, the pace that we're moving is great,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
it's like we're possibly going to get to a point where we're constrained over the next couple
Yes.
months if we're not able to really invest a lot in certain spaces.
Sure.
And our competitors are spending a lot of money every month.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting way, in my opinion, to kind of crowdfund like an idea and a belief, and to kind of try and bring us to the next
Yeah.
level.
Yeah. No, I like that for sure. Okay. I think I've gone through. Okay, we'll go through one more question here, and then if there's
Sure.
nothing else, then we'll move into the final mini game of the talk here. But if someone listening right now has this great idea for the next big thing, they have no roadmap, no team, no budget. All they have is an idea and a really strong passion to work on it. What would you tell them that you wish someone told you?
I tell them that I wish someone told me. I think people told me this, but I mean, you just have to start. Like, is my main like feedback on that. Like it's like there's so many like Reddit posts, people like, oh, I want to build this, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like, let's get a team together, this and this and this and this. Like, it's like the main thing you have to do is start
Yeah,
in any capability that you have, right?
for
And it's
sure.
like what that means is anything you can do, start.
Yeah,
Like, because if you're nobody's gonna do it for you.
yeah,
And that's the easiest way to get a team together is by showing that you started and showing that you're moving in a certain direction, right? And
absolutely.
it's like if you don't start it, it's going to be really hard for you to get together a group of people to kind of start it together. I think you just have to go. Like and that's like that was always my mindset with this thing. It was like, all right, I'm gonna build this thing. Okay, let's figure what do I got to do? Like let's go. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then when I got to a certain point where I was like, I need X, Y, Z, I can't do this. It was like, okay, let me try and find that person.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that a lot. Is there anything in regards to anything that we've talked about or haven't talked about that you would like to touch on, cover, whether it's about yourself, Vooz, any features coming, anything like that you want to touch on before we start getting into the closing parts of the podcast today?
I mean, not like we're always looking for feedback from people. Like this is a community project. And I mean that. Like we always talk to our users. Like we want to know what people want on these kinds of platforms. We want to know where we can do better.
Hmm.
Like we always looked at this as not ours. You know what I mean? Like we have our ideas, right? But the main thing is like we want people to have fun.
Yeah,
We want
absolutely.
people to enjoy themselves, and we want it to be like a just a cool place to go to.
For sure.
So any
Um,
feedback, anything, always reach out.
Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to ask a few questions, specifically about Vooz, as I have not used the platform personally, before I get into our final mini game, and you'll understand why in a moment. So I need to understand a few things about Vooz. Is it strictly you talked about global chats, right? You have your global chats where it's like kind of a bunch of people, everyone all in one chat room. Is the platform is set up to be a one-on-one kind of thing, but are there like groups available? Like you can
Yeah,
join like a chat room kind of thing.
we're gonna there. So there are chat rooms. Like
Okay.
we're building out more group features.
Okay.
I want to say that. Like we're gonna build out more group features, like group audio chats, more group video chatting things, more chat different chat rooms. We're probably gonna like users build chat rooms, similar to
Okay.
like Discord or something like that. So it's gonna there's going to we're gonna go more into group stuff in a bit. Like there's still some stuff we have to
Sure.
tighten up.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about a little bit about the features where you said like if a guy wants to meet a girl, then they can put those kind of
Yeah.
features on. What other like categories fall in under that sort of feature where you can pay for a
There's like
specification?
there's like location,
Okay.
right? Like there's location. There's also just like top users,
Okay.
right? So we'll get data on like users that use our platform a lot, that are having long conversations, all that kind of stuff, right? We can get into stuff even like eventually down the line of like specific stuff that people like. We do have interests on our
Yeah.
platform, right? But like if there's like entrepreneurs who want to connect, like you know what I mean? Like there's so much you can go into like filters, I want to
Yeah,
say,
yeah, yeah.
but it takes a really big user base outside of like the
Yeah, for
basic
sure.
ones.
Being able to niche down when
Yeah.
you don't have a wide base like that is going to be
Yeah,
difficult.
like yeah, you need a really big user base, and then we can start niching down and like figuring out like other stuff that really works.
Okay. I think I have a pretty solid understanding of how the platform works through the conversation we've had prior and the few questions there. So we're going to get into the last mini game and then we're going to actually close out today. So the mini game is called Pitch or Pass. So I'm going to throw some feature ideas and platform twists at you that you might be able to use on Vooz if you think it's fire. Some of these might be total garbage. Some of these might be ideas that you already had for yourself. But as a content creator who's been in the space for close to 2 decades, I've seen damn near everything that has been available on a social media platform when it comes to the gaming
Yeah,
side of things.
I love this. Let's see it.
All right. So we're going to start straight from the top. I'm just going to start shooting some of these off and you let me know if you like it. All right. We're going to do a talker type filter. You can sort your chats based on people who only want to do text, only want to do video, or do both.
So we do have we do have it sorted text and video right now.
Beautiful.
Both
So
would be both would be interesting. I actually kind of like that.
that's kind of how Omegle did it, wasn't it? You had the chat
No,
option available while you were.
yeah, yeah. It was just text or video. Both is an interesting idea though.
Okay.
Yeah.
A second chance feature. Some people go through a platform and they just skip, and they're like, oh shit. And then you can rewind back if you skip someone that you didn't mean to, kind
So
of thing.
so we do have on our platform right now, like you can look at the recent people that you did connect with.
Okay.
You can friend them. You can you can friend them,
Okay.
send them a message. But that's a cool feature though to have like right away.
Right.
I kind of like that. Like I skipped you, then you're like, oh, reverse it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
It
that's
would be
kind
kind
of
of like
interesting.
weird to play with, kind of thing. Because if like someone skips you and then like they try, you know what I mean? Like it's like
It could put you in a queue.
a cue to come
Of,
back. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
yeah, yeah. I kind of like that. Maybe it's something to think about. No, no, that's cool. That's cool.
All right. You kind of already played up a lot of like the protecting with nudity and all of that kind of stuff, but as far as moderation or everything goes, but an extra level of moderation could be an anonymous voice-only chat mode for the first 60 seconds, where video unlocks after both users agree, so you don't encounter those people who are doing the playing with the dicks and everything right away on video.
That's kind of cool too. I kind of like that for sure. What we can have is video is just voice chat,
Yeah,
like random voice chat,
yeah,
right? And then if you want to turn the video on, you can. You know
right,
what I mean? Like
for sure.
there's a whole bunch. That's a cool idea too. I like these ideas.
All right. We got text chat rooms, kind of. So it's kind of exactly what you were talking about with the entrepreneur thing, is basically what this idea was. It's like themed chat rooms where people are creators, or if they're artists, or if they're this or they're that.
Yeah.
And it's like massive Discord servers use this kind of as a feature that you were talking about earlier, where people can connect based on their specific interest in certain people and stuff like that. So
Yes. Yeah. For sure.
a feature that you could implement revolving around your signed creators is a verified creator spotlight queue, where your chat rooms are kind of primary facing with one of the cameras. Based on the nods, I assume this is a feature you already have implemented or implementing. But public facing mode, where top creators can host group Vooz sessions. And to add on top of this, Kick has a front page where you go onto their main platform and it rotates through all of their front page people. They have about 7 to 10 at any given time. So if you have like verified creators on your Vooz platform, kind of rotating through whoever is hosting a chat room session at that time with a bigger audience.
100% something like that would be cool as hell. Yeah, like something like that would be cool as hell. It's like there's so much we want to build on this thing. It's just like it's just time. That's like that's the one thing. It's like there's so much like all these like that features sounds awesome, right? It's a huge feature to build
Right,
out.
right,
Like
right.
it's yeah, yeah. That's a big but like no, like we want to do more stuff with our creators to give them like, like big group chats with people and all that kind of stuff. 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now with say creators are hosting a like a spotlight room or whatever. I assume creators can like host a room and then a bunch of people can join that room kind of thing and like text in the chat while the creators kind of like live streaming, quote unquote. Is that accurate?
Not right now. Maybe down the line.
Okay. If that feature was to be implementing some sort of like tips feature to the creator, when you get into that, you start getting directly into almost a live streaming space where it's like everything that Twitch and Kick have available as far as, bits or text to speech or anonymous AI messages where you like do it through like blurps and all of that kind of stuff. All of that is available, even in one-on-one chats. If someone spends 500 diamonds to play a specific sound effect on the call, blurping something like that.
And that's stuff where we can utilize those diamonds in like almost anything.
Yeah.
Something like that, right? And also to like pay out the streamer and stuff, like the influencer, right?
Yeah.
And that's and that's like the coolest part. What I like about our platform is that we do have like a free way to get all the diamonds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is like, it's almost like a game battle pass in a way.
It's
always there.
Yeah, I like
it's
that.
like kind of like exactly like that, where it's like instead of being like, hey, you always have to spend money, it's like just use our platform, you're gonna get a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And we're very free flowing with them right now, and you can gamble it and stuff like that, which is cool.
So when you talk about the pulling everything back together as far as the money goes, so people obviously earn these diamonds just by spending their time on Vooz, right? So
Yeah.
Now, is there a way that they can cash out their diamonds for real?
We can't.
Okay.
Like for a streamer, possibly, like streamer, we could probably do that.
Okay.
Or if they get like gifts and stuff like that.
Okay.
But the way we're implementing them, right? Meaning like we're gonna let you gamble them and do all this stuff with them. I can't let you cash them out.
Right.
Because as a user, right? But you can use them on the platform for stuff that would have cost money.
Okay. Got you. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
A streamer-facing dashboard that lets creators queue up curated Vooz conversations during live content. So think kind of like
explain that to me.
Yeah, I'm trying to think out the way that I planned this when I wrote it, because I wrote it kind of sophisticated and I don't think sophisticated on the fly. So say like creators are talking with each other in like chats on Vooz, not on call, right? They're just kind of like having conversations with each other kind of thing in a text chat. Being able to queue up conversations that relate to specific topics, like say the Do was talking with Marcus Veltri, since we mentioned them earlier, right? They were talking, and the Do is getting into one-on-ones, making content on a specific thing, and he's able to queue up a curated conversation. This would be very AI generated, so like if they talked about a specific instance in the conversation, then you don't have to scroll up through the entire chat, try and find what they were talking about regarding a specific conversation piece. Very much like Command F on a keyboard, where you just
that could be interesting if users want something like that. 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, a personality quiz for the onboarding flow, as kind of like not a requirement to sign on to Vooz, but it sets aside the entire like what are your interests process, and it completely feels out the vibe of the people that you match with rather than anybody anywhere kind of thing.
I hesitate on stuff like that because I don't want it to be too much stuff before you can start using our platform, right?
That's valid.
But it's like maybe we could implement something like that on the side, or if they wanted to use it, they could, and we can be like, oh, we're trying to match you with people similar.
Right,
But
right,
it's
right.
there's also a lot of work on the back end to then be like personality matching things.
Yeah.
But it also would take a big user base to do
Right, right,
that.
right. It's definitely
Yeah.
like sort of a pop up thing, like want to match with like viewers more related to you, like say
View
they're skipping a lot
yeah.
kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, it honestly would be cool. I would just have to think of how to do it, like, and not bring in every user onto it, because then it's like I want users to use the platform quickly, like
right, right,
Omegle
right.
was, right? But then give it as an option.
Like having
It's a
that
lot to
that
think
pop
about.
up space in a window kind of thing, where you're talking about like we strategic cluttering, right? If they're
Yeah.
skipping and skipping and skipping and skipping, and then you add like a window like not finding who you want to
Hey,
talk to kind of thing, and it brings you to a link for a
tell us your
personality
interests and
quiz
stuff like
that,
that.
yeah,
No, it could be cool. And that could be really cool.
yeah,
That legitimately could be like a very interesting way to match people. I feel like it's a lot of work,
it
especially
definitely
for
would be a lot
the
of work.
to like figure out like what personalities go together, but maybe there's something like standard.
Right.
It's an interesting idea for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
That's about
And
as
you can
far as
also
I.
use AI for it.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you
Yeah.
should definitely use AI for it. It would be way too,
Yeah.
way too much
You
to
can,
put queuing up and figuring out the human emotion like calculator.
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? That's a
You
lot.
can probably use like a way to AI figure out which people would match best and try and match them based. It's an interesting idea.
Yeah,
We can like we would probably test something out and like with some of the users and see if they liked it.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's the ideas.
I like these ideas though.
Yeah, that's the mind of a content creator, man. It just flows
Yeah,
naturally.
I like these ideas for sure.
Another thing is I don't know how like rooms kind of work kind of thing, but if you did a stream like the live stream quote unquote, if you get into that kind of space, then having other rooms that are like this, you know what I mean, like streams to watch on like streaming platforms and spaces like that as well. It's a whole different beast once you get into like a hosting
A
events
live
like
stream. Yeah.
that's a whole different fucking
We
beast.
want to
But
be able to host events for art, like
yeah,
especially like bigger content creators and stuff like that, where they can meet like the people that they're. Well, I mean, a lot of them do meet them on Twitch, but like meet them on video. Like we definitely want people to be able to like host events on it with like bigger audiences and video or stuff like that, right?
yeah,
We just got to think about what is different from that and like Twitch and Kick, right? And how we can be like a different thing than that, right?
yeah.
At
So
the
I
same time, cool.
I had a few things that kind of go with that, but I don't know how deep you want to dive into streaming with it. So like what you have unique about you is that you have when it comes to live streaming, you have one person on screen and you have a bunch of people there, right?
Yeah,
Watching. You have the like stream together feature with like Twitch now kind of thing, but something
yeah,
that would implement kind of a Discord vibe with a live stream vibe is Discord has what is called stages. Now you
yeah, yeah. I've
can
seen those. Yeah,
input
that's exactly what we kind of want to do on it,
right.
where it's like a almost like a presentation kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Whereas like you can go on and be like, hey, I want to talk about like this with my audience, and they're on video and stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
Um, but yes, I know what you're
I'm
talking
gonna
about.
take it to the next level for you and how you can make money on
Okay,
this.
tell
You
me.
you have a streamer on camera talking to their audience, right? And then either at the end they could do a meet and greet, or if they want to do like a specific like portion of their talk where they bring people from the audience. You can have maybe a VIP as something that you can buy out with diamonds, a VIP feature where they specifically, it won't be a guarantee that you get pulled from it, but it costs maybe like $5 worth of diamonds to get that tag, and now you're put into the exclusive pool of who they could pull from to bring on stage and talk to during this quote unquote live stream sort of thing.
That would be
Because
cool as fuck. Yeah, I like love ideas like this. It's like there's so many places we could bring this, right? So many places you can bring with like video chat, text chat, and like audio features, right?
absolutely.
And then and like a lot of our content creators have like have had like stuff like what you're talking about, like what
Mhm.
they want to do on our platform, right? Um, it's just like time.
It's
That's
a
the
lot.
one
Yeah,
thing.
that's exactly what it
Yeah,
is. Time is money.
that's the one thing, and that's why we want to like figure out a way for us to get enough
Yeah.
funds so that we can possibly I could bring in my developers full time, you know what
Right.
I mean? And like we can really build at like a really interesting pace, right? And try and get like stuff out there to people that they want and like would use.
Yeah.
And that's how we're going to be different.
Yeah.
Like none of the platforms right now are really doing anything different besides that basic video, text chatting, anonymous stuff, which is going to be there, right?
Yeah.
Always going to be there. That's the base of our platform. And it can probably tie into these presentations and stuff like
Hmm.
that. You're going to have anonymous people, like we can figure out a way to like show it where they can come join and see what's going on. You know what I mean? So there's so much we can do with the platform. We just there's also so much work we have to do on the
I
platform.
mean, yeah, there's a very like I mean I say simple because I don't know the coding and dev work behind all of it, but like you could
Yeah.
use a content creator live streaming as a category, and then anyone who is actively watching that creator gets put into the rotation of who is meeting up one on one. So the streamer
Mm-hmm.
is always in the middle of the screen, but then the one
Mm.
on one conversation for people who are always anonymously rotating and meeting people, like that is always going to be
That's pretty
play. You
cool.
know what I mean?
That's pretty cool. I like that
That's the
a lot.
category is the streamer that they're
Yeah,
interested
is
in.
the streamer. So you're like, oh, I'm watching XQC,
Right.
but and then you would match based on that,
And then everyone who is in that category matching is how
and you
many
can talk about
viewers
it.
that creator has. And that's like the active like viewers for that creator to understand like the revenue stream and how many concurrent viewers they have and all of that is how many people are in their party in order to you know what I mean?
That's kind of interesting. I fuck with that.
There's I
Yeah, I like
mean,
that. I like that a lot. Like it's like there's so many places we can do
oh
this.
yeah,
There's so
absolutely.
many things. Yeah, no, that's really cool though. I like that.
You're in a very unique
I got
space where Twitch and Kick and streaming platforms are never gonna fucking touch that side of things because it's
no
too much.
Twitch.
It's
Twitch doesn't even let you show these types of
oh
platforms
yeah.
on it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kick does though.
So it's never gonna go into this side of like how much you can implement the Discord side into the live stream side, and you're never going to be
Yeah,
able to implement the live stream side into the Discord side. They can always try and cross each other's paths, but like you are the perfect middle ground. You
I
like the
like this.
area
And
you're in. You know what I mean?
I
So
like this. I like this theory that you just had. No, that's interesting.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I like that a lot.
that's about where I got with my list. I mean, there's a lot more things that could easily flow as you like go into these a little bit deeper. You're like, oh yeah, this live stream category, and then it's like more ideas are gonna come naturally as you. But you know what I mean? Those are like some big things. So it sounds like I didn't come up with too many things that you already had going on. You fucked
No,
with a
no,
few
that
thoughts.
last idea is making me think. That last idea is really cool.
Okay.
I like that a lot. It's I got to think about it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
cool. It's a cool idea.
Definitely
I don't
ways to
credit you.
implement that. If you, oh, I'm not worried about it. All the credits on my podcast. I appreciate you coming on. That is the danger with it, though. I highly doubt that any of the competitors will come and watch this podcast. But now that
Oh, I
you show interest
there's
in it, you
there's
know what I mean?
yeah, but there's one thing to talk about ideas, and there's another thing to implement them. Like it's like none of these competitors, besides like that one I'm probably talking about, is they're not looking to do anything
Yeah,
with their platforms.
that's
It's
fair.
just they are what they are, and that they're happy with it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think before today, a lot of people thought that building something like Vooz is all about having an idea and hiring devs. But the way that you've done it, it's built out. It's your own hustle. It's your belief, and it's all about patience. All of that kind of story is what really sticks with people. So I really appreciate you, Jeremy, taking the time to come and be on the Brain Freeze podcast today. We did something completely unique today and original as far as the podcasting space go. We brought an entrepreneur onto a creator cast, and I believe that we hosted a style of podcast that really hasn't been done before because people bring entrepreneurs on all the time, but it's always a very professional conversation. I'm not a
Mhm.
professional motherfucker.
Me neither.
So we had a lot
Me
of fun
neither.
with
Me
it.
neither.
We were able to bounce ideas off of each other. We were really able to understand the core of what Vooz is and who you are and the life that you've lived. And I gotta say, it was an absolute pleasure having you, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Of course. Thank you for inviting me. That was awesome. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. So for those at home, we're gonna go ahead and sign out. Vooz is more than just the next Omegle. It is a new chapter in digital connection, backed by someone who lives and breathes the builder grind. Massive shout out once again to Jeremy for sharing the full ride with us. If you haven't tried Vooz yet, go tap in. The link to Vooz will be in the description down below. I'm not sure how I'm going to link this yet, but we will figure it out by the time that this gets posted. Go tap in and keep your eyes peeled because this is just the beginning. Thank you so much to Jeremy for joining us this week and to all of you for showing the support that you continue to show us every single episode of the Brain Freeze podcast. If you have someone that you'd like to see on the Brain Freeze, send us a DM at whosfrostii on Twitter. The link will be down below in the description. Stories like this don't happen overnight, so remember to stay chill, stay inspired, and as always, stay frosty. We'll see you guys next time on the next episode of the Brain Freeze podcast.